Monday, Tuesday, Gronk Day, as it were. I think for like the third year in a row here. Where's the time going here? It's already week 2. When I tell you it's precious time in the NFL, look no further than week 1. Amazing. Poof, gone. Now we're on to week 2, Commanders and Packers. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How many years of my life am I going to lose? Paging some Hollywood doctor with peptides on line 2 to keep me young throughout this season that still seems to be stealing and sucking the souls from us because it is so dramatic. There's so many ups and downs, and that's going to happen tomorrow. What do we need to know? Gronk will be here, 4-time Super Bowl champ. Rob Gronkowski will tell us everything that's going on. We have the return of underreactions today. We all know what we're overreacting to. What aren't we giving enough credence, love, criticism of, all things here on the show. We're going to get into Brock Purdy a little bit and the Chargers. Up in week 2, people. Matthew Hamilton, you're in only on this show. Do you get like a Brian Johnson shout out to start the program? Talking peptides and NAD. I'm not co-signing it. I'm not saying everyone should do it. I'm just saying that week 1 was a bit of a life stealer. And maybe I will say this, my favorite thing about Jared Allen, and something that maybe we should hold on to, or if we're ever going to make like bumps or TV things like ins and outs or whatever, it would be smart to use that Jared Allen or promos, whatever that, like promote the show kind of stuff. Like Jared Allen saying that week 1, he fell back in love with football. I loved it.
That was awesome. And yeah, that Brian Johnson is all over my timeline now, thanks to you. So I've seen things that I don't ever want to see ever again. So thank you for that.
You want to be a vampire? Like, I mean, come on, let's just be honest. Like, do you want to, and by vampire, I mean,
No.
You want to be Khalil Mack? You want to be 2025 looking Travis Kelce, yet to be seen on the field, but I think he's going to bounce back. They got a huge one. Oh my gosh. Commanders, Packers, and then Eagles, Chiefs. Eagles, Chiefs in Kansas City. I'm going to go to that game. That's the game. That's the game I have circled. I want to be at that game tomorrow night. That will be absolutely incredible. And then we get the Ben Johnson treatment quickly before we get to some of these underreactions. Hamilton, the one of our regrets, of the millions of regrets we have from training camp, namely doing training camp. What would you say? What would you say? Where would you say not asking Ben Johnson about that week 2 game and the price of the tickets? Where does that lie? Because that was a little nugget that you dug up. Why don't you tell the world? And I don't know if it's still true. I guess we should.
Yeah, at least as of training camp, the highest price ticket for a Lions home game this season was that week 2 game with the Bears and Ben Johnson making his return. It was like $300 something a ticket for the lowest price ticket just to get in the door.
That's crazy. And what will who have in store? I don't know. I think I like the Lions. I think the Bears win this one.
I'm going Lions.
What are the odds?
The Lions are 5.5-point favorites.
What's going on with the corners in Chicago?
I haven't seen an update yet, but yeah, that's going to be a big factor here too.
Who should I, nothing would piss Bears. I would piss everybody off equally. Me rooting for the Bears or saying they're going to win will piss off all of Chicago. Who has collectively lost their minds. The AM radio scene in Chicago, out of control, sports, everything. And then I'd make them very angry. And then I would equally make angry the Lions fans, who I'm excited for this day. But it'll I just like, you watch some Caleb tape. We don't have to get into it. So that's why I think that's why you're picking the Lions. However, I like Caleb. I like the gray t-shirt. I like it all. I like everything that y'all hate about him. I love about him more. Not you, but like the royal you. We have Gronk. I'd love Gronk's thoughts. Of course, on Caleb. What are the Fox games, Sam?
So Fox has that big Eagles Chiefs game. I think Gronk is going to be there in Arrowhead as well.
Love that. So much to get to on today's show. We're kicking it off. Of course, Packers, Commanders. Let's take a look here. Green Bay, 3.5-point faves They're at Lambeau again for this one. You know, LaFleur never gets to kick off his season at home. He gets back-to-back ones in Green Bay in his backyard. Lions a 5.5-point favorite over the Bears, as Hamilton just said. Somebody's going to be 0-2. Kind of hard to believe. And then, of course, that there's that rematch that we're talking about. Eagles favored by 1.5 at Arrowhead. Kay Adams in the stands. What does that do to the Overlords and their odds on this one? And yes, Jalen Carter is playing. We got word he will not be suspended. Court chain happy about that one. That's our graphics wizard. One of the best in the biz, if I don't say so myself. I don't know about Xavier Worthy. We got to get you updates on that. Jalen Royals on the KC side, so they don't look so dink and dunky as they did in Brazil. Either way, it should be a great one, guys. It is time for the return, not of overreactions. We are doing underreactions. We do it every Wednesday along with Gronk Day. Yep. And we're back. And I want to start with the Niners here, okay? What Brock Purdy did in this win over the Seahawks, in the midst of injuries, in the midst of who told you about Jake Moody and the problems with Jake? I was on top of that before anybody else last year. The general just like malaise, the ugliness of the game. Brock Purdy delivered as gutsy a performance as you're going to see. No George Kittle, no Brandon Ayuk, no Juwan Jennings playing through toe issues. That sort of had his status in doubt in front of that insane Seattle crowd against Mike McDonald's defense, and Brock led as awesome a game-winning drive as you're ever going to see. He found third-string tight end Jake T. I don't want to get his last name wrong. Magical scramble. He might have a bigger role in this week's action. This is the stuff of legends, okay? And if all that wasn't working, wasn't working against him enough. I mean, if you look at this, take a look at this. Brock Purdy pressured on a ridiculous 60.5% of his dropbacks. That's insane. Third highest rate of the quarterback world in the scene. That's over the last 10 seasons. Now I'm talking about this season, last season, anything. Not even last 5, 6, 7, 10 seasons. Only Mahomes and that iconic overtime win against the Ravens back in 2018, and Daniel Jones in his debut in Tampa, that only those two faced a higher rate of pressure and led their teams to a win than Brock did, and dealt with all that other junk going against him, flying in his face on Sunday. So I'm hoping he's healthy. Gutsy performance, showed us what he's made of. All these quarterbacks in this league, like even the guy, JJ McCarthy plays his first game. I understand the fourth quarter, gutsy. Look what Brock did on Sunday. That was impressive AF. No, let's give him some love here. Hopefully he's healthy, man, because they've got Cam Jordan on Sunday. He and Pearsall and CMC, and what is the toast of the town in the return of Salah's defense. They showed they can get the job done even with injuries, and that's just like what's baked in. You're a Niners fan, you're dealing with injuries. You're a Niners player, your number is going to get called, or there's a chance you don't have the guys you were practicing with 20 seconds ago. That's just like, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate on what it is. I have no idea, but that's just sort of become a little bit of the identity of the Niners in recent memory. But they're also winners. And as of this morning, they're still 4.5-point faves heading into New Orleans. Okay, what else are we underreacting to? I want to hear from you at Up and Adam Show. Maybe our Twitter could put out a little call to action. Tell us what we're underreacting to. Maybe Gronk and I can go over some of those in the show. That would be a smart move. So go follow Up and Adams, and let's tweet that out, please, if Jake can hear me. Next, we're underreacting to the performance the Broncos put up on Sunday. Yes, I know it was the Titans. I know. As I talked to Delaney Walker, Cam Ward made some rookie mistakes, looked the part from a leadership perspective, did a couple nice things. I know it's a game that the Broncos were supposed to win easily, okay? Against this said rookie, new regime, all of that. But they didn't just dominate. They put up one of the best performances that we have seen in years, especially when you consider that the offense did turn the ball over 4 times. Worrisome? Maybe. Not what I'm going to focus on here, because that's not, we're overreacting to the 4 turnovers and we're underreacting to the 6 sacks from 6 different players. That's the underlying highlight. I'm circling it on the subway on my ride into work. Like that's it, okay? They held the Titans to 62 yards through the air. They allowed 2.4 yards per play. All of those, best of any defense in week 1. The 2.5 yards per play, third lowest allowed in a single game since the beginning of last season. And while the usual suspects, of course, the reigning DPOY, Pat Surtain, trying to do it again back-to-back years, the beloved Destructicon and Zach Allen, Nick Benito, they are expected to have big games, and they had big games. It's the new additions that took it to another level. Make no mistake, it was Hufanga who led the team in tackles and had that big forced fumble. It was Jahdae Barron, who, if you're in Denver, you've been talking about him ad nauseum all offseason, all since he first got called to Denver. Okay, he had the game-sealing fumble recovery as well, as to be expected. Everybody's hands on the ball. Everybody's having their little moment. The expectations. Do you know how insane it is to have number one defense expectations, to like have the balls to bring in those players from the Niners, knowing then you're going to be put on this exalted pedestal of like, well, you better be number one. They're going to be, and to meet and to like blow those expectations out of the water. I don't care who the opponent is. They're the best unit in the NFL. They looked every bit of the best unit. And I think they'll do it to anybody. I think, Daniel Jones, Colts Sunday. Hammy, what are the odds on that one?
The Broncos are currently 2.5-point favorites as of this morning on the road in Indy in that one.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I don't know what to say. I guess the reason it's not getting that much love is the focus on these 4 turnovers. And would you like to say anything about Bo Nix there? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, Bo, that was not Bo's cleanest performance. I think he's going to get it together, but they were put in a lot of unfavorable positions because of all those turnovers. And I think that made it even more impressive to me what they were able to do. But yeah, you got to hope Bo is definitely going to have to clean that up a little bit going forward. And I think he will. It was a little uncharacteristic of him.
I don't know, because we've got our boy Cam Bynum and he'll be on the show tomorrow. But that, by the way, that is on YouTube, the entire interview. I snuck it onto the YouTube page early. So if you want to see what Cam Bynum has to say about the Broncos, about Bo, if you want to know what Cam has to say about Daniel Jones, his belief in him, Carly Ursay just on the sidelines patrolling like some badass with a headset. There's so much goodness with the Cam Bynum interview, and we're underreacting to. I mean, he had his pick in the first quarter. He's a manifester. This Cam Bynum is like a childlike resilience. He doesn't know anything bad can happen. He doesn't like go negative. It's like it's all working for him. And he might have double digit. He's going for his 10th interception. Does it happen against Bo? Bo's got to be wary of that. And Cam told us, and you guys should check out the YouTube. Cam told us he's ready for a celebration, and he's ready for the cameras to show Sean Payton after that celebration, which I thought was crazy.
It really was. And yeah, as far as Bo, I think some of it, I wonder with Bo, not to get too deep into this, but I do wonder if he has those expectations of like making this second year leap. It almost looked to me like he was trying to force the issue too much. He just has to get back to taking what's there, doing what made him successful last year and building off of that rather than trying to be, a top 3 quarterback.
Let's stay in the AFC West. And if you didn't hear Jared Allen's words, by the way, on those Chiefs who do take on those Eagles, go check out our YouTube page and subscribe there as well. He said nobody is afraid of these Chiefs anymore. So I'd love your comments on that. I'll see you guys in the mentions over on our YouTube page at Up and Adam Show. Okay. Let's stay in the AFC West. And I don't want to talk about the Chiefs. And we just talked about the Broncos, and the Raiders had a great win. We can talk about that all day long. And maybe we're underreacting to what they'll look like in the West. But this Chargers situation, I have found myself in such a strange place in the Chargers lore. Okay. I have been in on the Chargers for a decade. It's actually insane to think about. We started Good Morning Football in 2016. Before we started Good Morning Football, loved Phillip Rivers, loved Darren Sproles, but I'm saying as far as like on record, obsessed with all things Chargers. Okay. They're going to do it. They're going to figure it out. I have said nothing but I've been nothing but 100%. They're the best team in the world, right? Going to the games, all of that supporting. And I have found myself in some weird spot where I am saying things I don't even necessarily believe. And I don't know why I'm saying them. And it all started back there's a couple things. Here's one of the things is that I ask people, and Matt, you can hop on for this. I ask guests when they come on the show objectively about this narrative about Justin Herbert. Ham, can you come on? Thanks. Because it's an opportunity for people who have been around him, played with him, around the team, the Sean Merrimans of the world, the Dante Whitners who are close with Jim Harbaugh, like all of these we had Sony Michelle, even like anybody was at any time with Justin, to provide the opportunity. As I loved Herbert from the beginning because I'm an introvert, and the idea, this like concept that you couldn't have like an introverted or more insightful quarterback be a dog or a leader. I hated from the beginning, right? Like, or that you can't act the part or have energy when you need to, just because you need to recharge it was like the introversion about him that I did not like that. And he obviously, like, his numbers speak for themselves. He's unbelievable, but I've given the opportunity to have, and some people have said it's okay. And then we've had some people, who was it, Chris Harris, maybe? People will
Chris
question
Harris.
his clutchness. It's a thing. It's a tattoo. It's a cloud that, that he's going to have a chance in the playoffs to sort of battle against and finally prove his point. Me asking those questions doesn't mean that I buy into that. In fact, I have been adamantly against that, but I do like to give the opportunity to hear what people have to say, as he's, this lightning rod for some reason up until week 1 last year, quarterback. So it kind of started, it's there's that going on of like, and I understand fans being like, why are you asking that? Why are you like, why? But just because somebody else is saying it doesn't mean that I'm saying it. I'm asking for that opportunity. And it's split. It really is. Some people think one way, some people think another. People have been in that building for certain amounts of time or around him or what they're hearing or whatever. The second thing is this jerk, James Palmer, put some sort of, I don't know why. I don't know. I said this. I don't know why I said it. Let's take a look. It becomes like, do I have faith in Justin versus Bo? For some reason, I like Bo, and nothing against Justin. I don't know why I was not asked. I was not, and I'm not even saying like I don't know why I found myself in that situation. And I'm not walking it back. I think Bo's going to have a tremendous year. Bo had a great year. I do have faith in Bo, and I like Bo's play caller. But let's not. But that I deserve, and I get killed for this. I get killed for. But I remember going to break after and being like, "Ham, what the f am I?
Yeah.
What am I like?" And that's why I said it. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was no need to compare. It just like came out of your mouth, and you immediately. It wasn't after the bat. It was immediately after you said it. Like, why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. Yeah.
It was vomit, and I don't even know. And it's obviously James Palmer's fault. Like clearly his fault, because he brought in his like Denver bias, and like I don't know what was going. Anyway, I love them both. No need to compare them. They're both great, respectively, and incredible. I think he's clutch. I think he's introverted. I think he's living his best. Do I question him choosing Delilah as a date location? That's a story for another day. But I'm not gonna harp on that. And then I'm obviously in Sao Paulo doing the broadcast on YouTube, playing the host role. Analyst Cam Newton puts it on me, a question, and I again walk into it saying something I don't necessarily even believe.
Do you think that the Chargers won the game, or do you feel like the Chiefs lost the game?
I think both. Can I say both? Is that a bad answer?
Explain.
Is it a bot answer? You've been calling me a robot.
ChatGPT.
He called me ChatGPT because I wouldn't give him answers about my personal life, which is funny. And he did a great job there. It was a lot of fun. But I went off and I said, I don't know, we should have maybe played that part too, where I'm like, and because in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, man, the Chiefs really like messed this game up for a bunch of reasons, but they lost. Xavier Worthy on their third snap, it affected their game plan. Like everything I said was right. It's what everybody's talking about this week, and their game plan, and the not being able to extend drives, and the fact that Patrick Mahomes had more rushing attempts and success than Isaiah Pacheco, like not really a way to win a game. Like all things were right. And I want to get but the Chargers clearly won that game. The Chargers, like, and I'm saying it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? But here's what I've come up with. It's working. I I've spent 10 years heavy lifting this Chargers team, up and trying to make it happen. And it's worked, and it's been slow progress, but nothing has worked more than me saying this dumb stuff, than me, like after 10 years of me lifting, all of a sudden now I'm walking into saying things that I don't even really mean, but it's working. So I know, Chargers fans, it's stupid moment after stupid moment, and both of my feet are in my mouth. And I'm sure there's a segment of the Twitter population that enjoys that. And I'll hear about it in my DMs here shortly. However, I love Justin Herbert. I love this team. I'm so excited. And I'm not walking anything back, because this messiness has worked in my favor. And shout out to WikiFeet. And that's all I'll say as we head to break here. Go Chargers, positive currents. I'm just not going to say nice things, incredibly nice things, because it's working. And this is why this team might win a Super Bowl. Okay, we'll be back. We'll talk more AFC. We'll hop over to the NFC mega game starting tomorrow. We got Prop-A-Shot. We got Commanders. We got the Packers. We've got the Gronkster. Prop-A-Shot. I don't even know who won. I don't want to know. We got Gronkster on next.
I know who won that Prop-A-Shot.
I don't know.
We'll get to it.
I can't even put it eloquently, but like, I have to, I'm sitting on that. I'm sure when you watched it, you were like, what do you do? Like,
yep.
There's nothing worse than being the person that says they won and they won and like, oh. I hate the question. Was it more of a Packers?
Yeah, it's always both.
No,
yeah.
No, the Chargers won that.
The Chargers won. Yeah. Even on my Chiefs show that I do, like there are a lot of concerns about the Chiefs, but it's like, hey, Justin Herbert was amazing. The Chargers defense was amazing. Yeah.
To be like, and I didn't take it. And the only reason I can think of why is because 10 years of saying nice things about the Chargers wasn't effective. And now I have had to, the energies of the universe have heel turned me when I don't even believe it to do that. Anyway, Brazil was great. I got to show you this. I got to give a shout out to FIFA.
Wow.
Look how amazing this is. I got the Brazil kit, a course ahead of all the action. I didn't get to meet Kaká. I was excited about that. I'm sure Gronk would have a joke about Kaká, but that's okay. He's not on yet. I did get to see Neymar. Neymar was there. He was hanging out with Odell the entire time, and he was came and dapped up our squad as well. So that was cool to see, because he's an absolute legend. But this was a legend before the legend. Was Kaká, and then they gave me an Adams one. So big thanks to everyone over at FIFA. Cool. World Cup coming up. I've got to get involved in the World Cup. Like,
oh yeah,
my dad will never love me more than if I can do something with that. So there's my show and tell. Thank you. And they gave me a scarf as well. I'm excited. And these games are obviously Kansas City. I'll be in Kansas City this week. But I'm excited. Like there's games in KC, so I got to get to these games.
I definitely want to get to one too. Colombia qualified, my adopted team. So very excited for that.
I'm excited for that too. Yeah, I'm excited for World Cup. I need to get involved. Mexico City has game matches. That's where I want to go when I go to Mexico City. Yeah. I have other show and tell stuff too, but thank you to FIFA.
We should just do that every break, just show and tell.
Yeah, I went in 1994. I think I told you, but I only went to like a preliminary, like a match before the match at Soldier Field. Greece and Valderrama. Never forget it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, time to hand out some attaboys for week 1. These are the top 3 performances that deserve a little more love from this weekend's action. At number 3, oh my gosh, week 1 was insane. It was hard to pick, but I'm going with Jags running back Travis Etienne for his explosive day. Jags beat Carolina. This was an offseason about what is this Jags backfield going to look like? And is Travis being phased out? Blah, 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 blah. He said, absolutely not. The Panthers defense, yikes. 16 carries for 143 yards for Etienne. Beautiful 71-yard rumble. This is the longest play anybody pulled off this weekend. Yeah, we're giving love to the Jags because it was so impressive that they traded away the guy we thought was going to be Philadelphia's main competition for touches in Tank Bigsby to the Philadelphia Eagles shortly after. So attaboy to Travis. Big day. Cannot wait to see how he looks in this Liam Cohen scheme. Great job to the Jags there. Nice start to the season. Okay, number 2, attaboy, Puka Nacua. Oh my gosh. So are we going to show the bloodiness of this? This man, are we showing? Oh man. There's blood pouring down his eyeball. I thought it was like in his eye. It wasn't. He leaves the game. He comes back in. And then he proceeds to just like annihilate the impenetrable Texan secondary. 10 catches, 130 yards. If that's not deserving of an atta baby, I don't know what is. And beyond just the production, this last catch on 3rd and 8 put the game away absolutely, completely, definitively, period. CJ Stroud didn't get another chance. Didn't have a second to touch that ball, do anything. I liked the play call from Mr. McVay. Stafford and Puka pulled it off to perfection. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson, you have Jamar Chase. Is Puka the 3rd best receiver in the National Football League? It's a good question. And at number 1, a guy who at some point might be the number 1 wide receiver in the National Football League. Emeka Puka. Drafted on every fantasy team available to me, obsessed. First career NFL game. He scored not 1, but 2 touchdowns of the gorgeous variety, a game winner with under a minute to play. And, you know, it's one thing to have this kind of game in your NFL debut. It is another to do it against your main competition at the top of the division. So attaboy to Emeka Egbuka, Todd Bowles, Baker. Baker didn't even have a great game, but he crushed it. Mike Evans at the bar so high for him when I visited Bucks camp. So did Lavonte David. So did Baker, saying he's like a perfect wide receiver. He said it to me in training camp. He said it all offseason long, and he said it after the game. He somehow manages to exceed these expectations out the gate. So there you have it. Top 3 week 1 performances that do deserve a little more of your love. Tweet them, hop in their DMs, tell them good luck in week 2. What did I miss? You guys tell me, what is an attaboy that I missed? Let me know in the comments as we say hello to my little friend who's 6'4" and has 4 Super Bowls. Oh, no music video. No music video.
What's up, Kay?
What up? I like your shirt. I like your shirt, bro.
Yeah, appreciate that. I really like this color. And I just want to say good job last week when you hosted and you analyzed the game in Brazil on the YouTube station. You did wonderful. I watched the whole entire pregame. You did great at halftime and postgame as well. And my favorite part was Cam came up with this crazy saying, like clappity-doo, clappity-woo, something along those lines. I'm not sure if it was exactly that, but it was something like that. And I was on the ground laughing, Julie and I was like, that was classic. That was hilarious. He's a character, and I love it.
He's a character. It was a lot of fun. The energy was crazy. There were a lot of Gronk jerseys, I got to tell you, in the audience. I think that's the best part of going to an international game. Everybody just wears what they can get their hands on down there. And you're seeing like the craziest collection of jerseys. But of course, you were well represented. You and Julian watched that one together, huh? How was your first week at Fox?
Yes, first week at Fox was excellent. It was smooth. The guys are great. I mean, just being around Strahan, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, and Kurt Menefee, they're such professionals. They pick you up when you're down a little bit or make a little mistake, and they cover up for you like instantly because these guys are just pros, and just being around them makes you better as well. But everything went smooth. Takes were good. You know, I got a little nervous at some points throughout the show, but that's how it is when it's the first one, and I haven't been on air in a while. But overall, it was fun, and I can't wait to get into week 2. And I heard you talking on the break that you're going to be in Kansas City this weekend for the Kansas City Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl rematch. And guess what? The Fox pregame show will be in Kansas City as well. We will be doing a 2-hour pregame show at the Power and Light District. We will be doing halftime and postgame as well out on the field. So hopefully we get to see UK. That will be wonderful.
That's amazing. I can't believe everybody's coming in, but it is the Super Bowl rematch. It's a big game, and Fox always does things right and big when they should. And that's exciting that you guys will all be there. I love that. So let's dig into that game. You're at Arrowhead with Fox. You said Power and Light. Love it there. That's not a place that I don't know that I would trust you to run around. There's that's a whole scene down there in Power and Light. But if we look at the Eagles side of things, no rust. Okay. They did their thing against the Cowboys. No jitters, no week 1, anything. Their top 2 wide receivers just had 4 catches for 24 yards combined. Lots being made of that. Any thoughts on that? Do you think that AJ and Devontae need to be involved a lot more and will be against these Chiefs? I mean, look at what Justin did to this Chiefs secondary.
Well, I mean, Coach Sirianni is a wonderful coach, and he comes up with these game plans on a weekly basis. And that's why he's a great coach, because he comes up with game plans that they need to succeed against that given team that they're playing that week. So sometimes the wide receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles won't be incorporated into the game plan as much because it might be more of a running game. And you got Jalen Hurts rushing the ball. You got Saquon Barkley as well. And those two guys are so legitimate that sometimes you don't have to pass the ball. But I can tell you this, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, you're number is going to be called. And when it is called, be ready to make those plays. And that will make the Philadelphia Eagles that much more dominant as well, is when these wide receivers do get incorporated into the offense and get used the right way, how they should be used. But you can't complain when you win because of the running game. So they will be used. We will see how, especially coming up in this game against Kansas City.
For the Chiefs, no Xavier Worthy, and they lost him on the third snap of that game. Of course, that you watched against the Chargers. Rashee Rice, of course, out for the foreseeable future, next handful of weeks. Jalen Royals is still possibly out. We don't know the update there. How, I guess I'll ask you this. Do you think I was talking to Jared Allen yesterday. Did they use Travis Kelce the way you thought they would when those injuries happen? And of course, without Rashee going into that, how do they generate enough offense to beat these Eagles?
It's going to be tough. I don't really think that they are going to be in a situation where they can overcome the adversity that they're going through, especially with the Eagles, how they're playing. I mean, they're coming in hot where they left off last year in the Super Bowl. I believe the Eagles are going to have the big advantage, and they're going to come out swinging once again versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And to overcome that wide receiver situation is going to be really tough. I mean, the running backs are going to have to step it up. They're going to have to generate that run game and get that going. And Hollywood Brown, that's going to be the name that the Kansas City Chiefs will be dependent on going into week 2 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles secondary, I believe, struggled a little bit versus the Cowboys in week 1. So they can find areas and zones to pick them apart. But Hollywood Brown needs to step it up big time. Travis Kelce is going to be used in situational football. I don't think that, you can depend on him first, second, third down on every single play. But in situational football, he can come through for them. But Hollywood Brown, once again, is the guy that needs to step up like never before. This is your opportunity. Take advantage of it, Mr. Hollywood.
I think you're right. Kelce, 2 catches, 47 yards and a touchdown, of that beautiful touchdown, but it didn't win them the game. Patrick, I thought, looked great, especially in the second half. He can't do it all on his own. What surprised you about the Chiefs when you were watching that one?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is just an incredible quarterback. You can't take away anything from him. I'm literally like, he has no weapons, and he's continuing this offense to, keep the chains going. It's either with him running or just making a miracle play happen down the field. And it's just mind-blowing every time. I have so much respect for him and his game with what he does. But with the Kansas City Chiefs, what I was surprised about is when things aren't going their way, as you can see, when they start struggling a little bit, they start yelling at each other. Their blame game starts going on.
Yeah,
you can see it on the
that?
sidelines. And that's not a good situation. I mean, you want to come together when you're down, when things aren't going your way, and you want to come together to figure out why, everything's not going the way it needs to go. So to see them starting to point fingers is not a good sign. They got to, get incorporated on and get on the same page and not be blaming others.
What do you think is going on there? Because why does it get there? And you got like the Chris Jones and Tranquil thing that yeah, I mean, that never happened in New England.
Well, here we go, Kay. Remember Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas? And Buster Douglas finally beat the crap out of Mike Tyson and made Mike Tyson not invincible anymore. Well, this is kind of the same situation. The Philadelphia Eagles opened the floodgates last year in the Super Bowl versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, hey, we're not afraid of this super team, Kansas City Chiefs, that are very, very well known. I feel like a lot of teams last year had that fear. Oh, I can't swing on the Chiefs. We can't give them our best shot because they're so well known and everyone is talking about them. So the Philadelphia Eagles punched them in the face. The Chiefs didn't know how to react to that because no one else was doing that. Well, going into this year now, the Los Angeles Chargers punched them in the face. The Chiefs were like, whoa, they're coming at us. How do we react? Well, they didn't know how to react because no one was doing that before. So the Philadelphia Eagles opened that floodgate of, hey, if you punch these guys in the face, you take it to them, you come out swinging, they're going to fold, and they're not going to be the team that you've been seeing all last year.
When your Patriots team lost to Chris Long's dog mask wearing Eagles, did you feel that the next year? Or is it the way the loss happened against the stunning, like punch in the mouth, like the domination? Like, I'm trying to think, like,
Well, that's the difference. When the
were people
Philadelphia
not
Eagles
afraid of you?
beat the Chiefs last year, though, they absolutely beat the brakes out of them. There was no competition. It wasn't even close. When we lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, that went down to the wire. We had over 500 yards offense. Everyone performed well on the wide receiver side of on the offensive side of the ball, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. And it was down to the very last play with the Hail Mary. We were competing. It wasn't like they absolutely just knocked us out cold in the 5th round when there was 10 rounds. It went down to the wire. The Chiefs game last year in the Super Bowl was over in the 2nd quarter, and that's the main difference, is that they didn't open the floodgates versus us. We were still coming out the next year swinging, and that's why we won the Super Bowl. We knew that we just, with a couple mistakes and a couple corrections, we can get back to where we need to get back to, and that's what we did.
I think I might have, I don't know. I really am like, I was like, the Chiefs are going to come out the gate and just that the empowerment and motivation they got from their ass kicking would absolutely trump any sort of we're not afraid of them anymore sentiment out there. But I think I might have overestimated their being gassed up by the loss versus other teams feeling a more confidence and a little bit like they're not invincible. Like, I think I might have underestimated that, at least so far. But I'm still afraid of them.
A lot of people
Jared
have.
Allen said teams aren't afraid of them. And then now you're sort of saying the same thing. And I'm like, well, what's the value of that? How much does that actually matter when you have a Patrick Mahomes who's throwing the ball vertically and we're just all normalized by his greatness and what he's like? How much does it actually matter when you do have Andy Reid and but I think it must matter a lot more than I understood.
It does matter, because if you fear an opponent, you're not going to play at the level that you want to play at because you're thinking about who you're going against. It happened to me plenty of times in my situation. Say we're going versus Seattle Seahawks. Well, I know Earl Thomas was at the safety position, so I kind of feared him, going up the seam a little bit because he has laid me out a couple times. And when you fear that opponent, you're not really going to go full speed because you're thinking about it. And then that's the same situation I feel like last year versus the Chiefs. Everyone was feared them. Everyone was thinking about who they were going against. They weren't playing their game. So I do think that's such a thing, Kay.
But Gronk, don't you think, like, if I was trying to put myself in your and any opponent's shoes last year, and they were these close games, there's this saying, right? Like, everybody gets their best punch. Like the Patriots in their dynasty, everybody got. So to me, it's like, if I'm going up against the most feared, best team in the league that's gone to a million Super Bowls in a row and AFC this, AFC that, I'm more dialed in. I'm more dialed in against an opponent that I fear that's the best. Like, that's why I think the Raiders gave them hell. The Panthers gave them hell last year in these games. So I guess, like, I think I would think fear would be, I'd focus more in those games and not overlook them. But I guess these past 2 showings have been crazy.
Yes,
And then there's also, like, do the Chiefs, does it look like to you when you like, do the Chiefs believe in themselves less? Is that where maybe some of this, like, this disfunct is happening on the sidelines and stuff? Like, I don't know, maybe they believe in themselves less.
No, I mean, just the way you see them in the media and talking to the media and all that, I believe that they believe in themselves big time, but they are hurting. Remember, they are hurting big time on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense stepped it up. I mean, they played well versus the Chargers. I mean, Justin Herbert finally took his game to the next level. We've been all waiting for that for 10 years with the San Diego / LA Chargers, for them to finally get over the hump. And it looks like they finally did it in week 1 of this year, opening week, which was a fantastic display by Herbert, just overall in the air game and on the ground. But the Chiefs just overall are struggling in that, in the wide receiver position, and that takes away so much from their game. So when they get their guys back, there's going to be no more excuse, and I believe they'll amp it up more, and they can have more play designs as well and bigger chunk plays to get the ball moving.
Eagles favored by 1.5 points on the road. Last time the Chiefs were home underdogs was 3 years ago against the Bills, and they did in fact lose that game. I'm not going to make you pick. I know you'll pick on Fox. We'll hit a proper shot here for tomorrow night in just a little bit. Question for you. I've talked to Jared Allen yesterday, the Hall of Famer, and obviously Jalen Carter that whole thing happened. You know, what is it? Have you ever been spit on before? Have you ever witnessed anything? Do you have any sort of spit story from your Gronk lore?
No, I never been spit on before. I never seen anyone do it. I've heard of stories of other players getting spat on that never got caught when doing it, and I think it's a disgusting act with what with spitting on another opponent. It's gross, just spitting overall onto someone or just spitting their way. I'm turned off big time and the repercussions of doing that should definitely be at the highest level. But Jalen Carter did it. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. He's unblockable in the pass game. He's unblockable in the run game. And the Philadelphia Eagles need him big time. As you can see in week 1, they need to get that pass rush going, and Jalen Carter can get them, kick off, get that engine going for the Philadelphia Eagles. And also, I believe their secondary struggle because they really couldn't get to the quarterback. And without Jalen Carter there putting the pressure on, the secondary was kind of getting, diced apart by Dak Prescott and company by the Dallas Cowboys. So he paid his punishment. He was suspended basically the whole entire week 1 because he got booted before the game even started. And the NFL sent out a message that if you spit on another opponent, you're going to lose your whole entire paycheck that week. And on top of it, you're going to get suspended for a game. And fortunately, he got suspended or thrown out of the game before the first play. So that's where he served his suspension. But there's nowhere in the game for that. But with Jalen Carter, just calm it down and play in between the whistles. Take that aggression out in between every single down and just dominate on the football field.
See, another thing I'm looking for in this game, and you'll be there to see it, but like we're talking about the changes on the Chiefs, or I think the Chiefs secondary is a problem. Like after that game, my first thing I wanted to ask Keenan is like, y'all had no issue just going after the secondary. They don't have Justin Reed anymore outside of McDuffie. It's sort of a question. And then like looking at this matchup, like the Super Bowl rematch, they don't have CJ GJ anymore. They don't have Slay. And it's definitely like, I know we have Cooper DeJean and all of that, but it's definitely, there's a lot of changes in the secondary from last year. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on that because the Cowboys did have a lot of opportunities in that week 1 battle. Can you explain Drake May to me? Your Patriots.
Oh,
30,
yes. The Patriots, they came out flat, I can tell you that. I bought into the hype in the offseason, no doubt about that. I think a lot of people out there bought into the hype. Everyone thought the Patriots were going to come out flying. We're going to play, with urgency. And let me tell you, it wasn't there. Drake May had a pretty decent game, but it's not like he took that next step from his rookie year into his second year. And usually that's when NFL players make their biggest step in their career, is from being a young buck all the way, and maturing and going to your second and third year. But we did not see that with Drake May, but he still played pretty good, but he just looked a little timid out there as well. And the Patriots need chunk plays. They need to be able to move the ball down the field with big time plays. And on top of it, they need to find ways to score in the red zone. They don't really have any touchdown threats, guys that can just score like immediately just like that in the red zone. They got to get creative with plays in order to get the guys open. So the red zone is going to be a big, big iffy for the New England Patriots, and hopefully they can come up with something.
Drake hasn't won an NFL game throwing more than 25 passes. That's definitely a thing. Dolphins this week, there are a lot of question marks on the Dolphins as well, which, I mean, are you buying into them being this bad?
Yeah, like you said, though, the Patriots, they do need to get the run game going. I mean, Drake May throwing it over 40 times is unnecessary. They can't be winning like that. But the Miami Dolphins, they're terrible. And it's been coming out of that camp for a long time, about a year in the making. I have not heard a good thing come out from Miami about the Miami Dolphins in about over a year. Just reports about how unhappy players are, how Coach McDaniels is losing the locker room, all that type of stuff. And that showed week 1 last week versus the Indianapolis Colts. The display was horrendous. They got a lot of playmakers on the offense side of the ball. You didn't see anything. You've been hearing about how Tyreek Hill wants to get traded out, how he's not happy there since last year. So it's just the turmoil has just been real, and it showed big time in week 1, and that was no good. So the Patriots, they need to win this game. I mean, they're on the up, the Dolphins are on the down, but if the Patriots don't win, then that's going to be a really rough start to Vrabel's, head coaching gig with the Pats.
I'm on the weather app here, the Weather Channel app. Okay, let's look. Sunday, it is high of 86. Some thunderstorms. You know, the Pats down in Miami. It's always been a thing. I don't know if
It
maybe it's
has
a
always been a thing.
Belichick thing. If you're, now that you're in this, you're wearing this FanDuel shirt, like Pete, like I would like you to give me where does that factor into this? That it's hot, that it's gross, the bench, all of that. Like, how do you factor in that when you're thinking about, because that's the first thing I think of, Patriots down in Miami, never good, never what I think it's going to be. Even when Tom Brady was the quarterback, how do you factor that into this one? Five
It just
straight
doesn't
losses at
matter.
Miami. Five
Yes.
straight losses at Miami. Holy moly.
I mean, it's like Miami just has the Patriots number. Like the city of Miami just rips the heart out of Patriot fans every single time, the Patriots go down to play in Miami.
Why?
But the weather is a factor. Yes, it's going to be 86 degrees, like you said, sunny. If it rains, then the humidity and dew point will be even higher, which makes it that much harder to run around. I mean, you don't practice in that type of weather being in New England. The Dolphins are always practicing in that type of weather. You get sweaty right away. The ball gets slippery. It's hard to breathe. You're breathing deeper, so you're more tired. So you're not playing at the rate that you want to play at with your quickness and your speed. So it does catch up to you. And it's a 1 o'clock game, right in the prime of when it's the hottest during the day, from 1 to 4. The sun, rain, all that will just come together, and the humidity will be popping. So that plays a big factor into it. And I would say that's why the Patriots struggle every time we go down there, is because it's tough. And then you start cramping, you get dehydrated. It's a real thing, Kay. It really is.
I can tell by just the way your facial expressions. Like, it is a thing.
You want?
It's part of, yeah. What?
Because I struggled plenty of times going down there, and I struggled big time when I first got to Tampa as well. The first 2 weeks just practicing in training camp, and that humidity and heat. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a game changer, and not in a good way. It hurts, in the end. It makes you a better player because you get used to it, and your body can get used to that heat, and then you can sustain it. But it's a real thing, and I struggled plenty of times. That's why I believe it's a factor.
Dolphins 1.5-point favorites over the Patriots on FanDuel Sportsbook. Who you got?
I mean,
You're going to pick Miami. I would pick Miami.
I mean, it's a tough one because I don't want to go against the Patriots. Like, I bought into the hype. I said they're going to have a solid team, and they came out so flat.
13 points over the Raiders, Gronk.
They didn't play with any urgency. So I don't want to go against the Patriots. But then also last week, the Miami Dolphins were so horrendous, Kay. They were so terrible. It was such a bad display. So I'm going to go. The Patriots finally beat that losing streak down there in Miami. They're not going to lose 6 in a row. I'm just going with the odds of losing 6 in a row. That it's kind of impossible to do that. So New England Patriots to win, because they're going to pick up their running game. That's why they're going to depend on Travion Henderson more. So boom, their run game is going to be great, and they're going to win. Patriots.
I love this short TV break. We'll keep talking to Gronk here in the break, and this is why you should subscribe to the YouTube. The Lions were your Super Bowl pick.
Yes, they were.
It's just week one. It's just week one.
It is just week one.
I believe in this team. They've got this insane, complete mega team, the Packers, this week. What stuck out to you? What's your main takeaway from week one?
I would say the Lions struggled, due to their coordinators leaving. And I even said it in the pregame show that don't expect much of a change with the identity of the Detroit Lions. You want to know why? Because their defensive coordinator is Calvin Shepard. He was their linebacker coach, and he got promoted, and he learned from Aaron Glenn. He learned the schemes from him. So I didn't expect the defense to fall apart that much without Aaron Glenn, because of the same schemes and the same guys on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they got John Morton, who came over from the Denver Broncos. He was their passing game coordinator. And the reason why there was going to be definitely an initial learning curve with the offense, but the reason why I didn't see them struggling that much is because the Detroit Lions have that core group of players on the offensive side of the ball. And I believe chemistry within the players is more important than having a brand new offensive coordinator. So I thought they were going to be able to come up to par quickly with the new offensive coordinator, and that wasn't the case. They're still learning the system, and they didn't gel together. So losing to both of those coordinators was definitely a big no-no for the Detroit Lions. It did not look like a Dan Campbell team.
Both teams coming off week 1 division losses. Lions favored by 5.5 points at home. Gronk, do the Bears pull off an upset with their former coordinator? What a freaking game. I can't wait.
I mean, I'm kind of like a Bears fan as well, because I just want to see the Bears to be good again. Like, the city of Chicago has so much history with the game of football. Like, and it's a great city as well. So, like, I kind of cheer for the Bears because I just love the saying "da Bears" as well. And it would just be cool to see them be good. I think it would be great for football. But I think the Lions pick it up. They're going to learn from their mistakes. And they got to come out firing. I mean, you can't have that type of display, especially with the same group of guys basically that they have from last year still. The Lions got to pick it up, and they're going to mesh together. I think it was possibly just a fluke going versus the Packers last week.
I mean, so this Packers defense, yeah, they don't let Gibbs do anything. But I like the perspective. It's Da Bears versus your Super Bowl pick. It's hard to decide. But I mean, I think let me ask you this: if we have a couple minutes, so we're back on the TV with the prop and shot. Actually, never mind. We're back in 10 seconds. Lions win over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's do this. Let me know when we're back, Cam or Richard. Let's get into tomorrow night, kicking off week 2 on Amazon. Commanders Packers. It's another game at Lambeau. The Commanders, they were pumping in some very specific crowd noise yesterday. Let's take a listen to some of this. Go, Pat, go. What do you think of this?
I think it's a smart, play. I mean, that's what a lot of teams did in the NFL. That's what we did with the Patriots. That's what we did with the Buccaneers. When you're going on the road, you pump a lot of music into practice so you can start getting used to that crowd noise and not being able to hear each other. So the hand signals and the communication without being able to verbally talk to each other, become where it's to the level that it needs to be so you can function at a high level so you can get the plays off and the calls off and get the snap count off at the right time that you needed to. So great job the way that the Washington Commanders are practicing right now.
I love it. I expect it to be even louder after Matt LaFleur sort of chastised Packers fans for selling their tickets to Lions fans. And after that brilliant win, after getting Micah, I think Packers fans are going to hold on to their tickets if they can. Let's get to these. Okay, sorry. Packers 3.5-point faves I'm seeing right now in FanDuel Sportsbook against these Commanders tomorrow night. What does it come down to quickly, and who wins it?
I think it's going to come down to the Washington Commanders run game. I mean, it was very solid week 1. They had a well-balanced attack. And if the Green Bay Packers front 7 can handle Washington Commanders run game, then the Green Bay Packers are going to run away with this game.
Okay, love this. Let's bring in Hamilton. We do our thing here with FanDuel Sportsbook. We are both partners, and we have Prop a Shot. Ham, take it away.
All right, let's recap last week where the scoreboard stands right now. Gronk, you went 2 for 3. Kay went 1 for 3. So Gronk, you have the early lead here. You guys know how this game works. I'm going to tee up 3 props for each of you. Packers, Commanders tomorrow night. Gronk, I'm going to start with you. Line for Jordan Love's passing yards, 223.5.
Yes, I got a quick question, Harrison. Is this the first time I've ever been in the lead in Prop a Shot? Because last year I was down every single week. So hold on, I'm just still celebrating. The first time I'm in the lead with Prop a Shot, it's an honor. It feels great. And I'm going to go with Jordan Love having under 223.5 passing yards. He's going to have a good game. He's going to make some throws when he needs to make some throws, but they're going to have a balanced attack. They're going to be able to run the ball as well. And they don't really have too many explosive playmakers at the wide receiver position, so under 223.5 yards.
All right, Kay, you're up. Jaden Daniels' line for passing touchdowns is 1.5. So does he go over or under that?
I'm going to let Gronk enjoy this one, but it's over. Week 1, rust. Week 1, no, everything's up and down. I'm going to go with over for Jaden here. I think both these teams are going to put up points. I think we're going to have fireworks here on Thursday night to kick off week 2. The Packers defense, they were insane attitude, tone setting, rough against everything offensively last year, or last week rather, but they were really good at stopping the run. Okay. Jaden's going to have to throw. a lot more than we even saw last week. And he, I'm going to say tosses a pair of touchdowns.
All right, Gronk, back to you. Debo had a big week 1. His line for receiving yards against the Packers is 53.5. Does he hit the over on that?
Yeah, he's continuing from week 1. He's going to go over 53.5 yards. Jaden McDaniels will be looking for him. Also expect Terry McLaurin to have a big game as well. He didn't really do much last week. Those 2 wide receivers are going to be coming out hot. And if they dominate and they get the run game going and Debo comes out and plays like Debo, it's going to be a great game.
All right, okay, your Josh Jacobs line for rushing yards is 78.5. Does he hit the over on that?
Oh man, I got to get this right because Gronk's right on both of his. I'm going to go over. I don't know. It might be a little close to home, a little personal because he's one of my favorite running backs in the game. But I feel like the Commanders did their thing. They stopped the Giants' run game last week, but that was the Giants, and they have this Packers team improved. Okay, and I think this is. I don't know. I just feel good about it. I think he hits 80 plus, and they're going to lean on him tomorrow night. Short week, Lambeau, over.
All right, Gronk, give me one anytime touchdown score for the Packers.
Well, you know I love my tight ends. I really love the game that Mr. Kraft, and not my boss, Mr. Kraft, brings to the table. It's Mr. Tucker Kraft, what he brings to the table. He hammers defenders when he gets the ball. He's a hard guy to take down. He had a touchdown last week, and I believe he's going to continue it into week 2 on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's a great pick. Hey, you're up. One anytime touchdown score for the Commanders.
I love that Mr. Kraft is still your boss. That's incredible. I'll go with Terry McLaurin. He's back. Quieter week 1. This is a guy who had 13 touchdowns though a season ago. I think he and Jaden get going through the air. The run stopped a little bit. Debo included in the running being stopped. So I think that Terry McLaurin is going to find the end zone at least once. Let's recap prop a shot. Gronk in the lead. I'll go with Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Josh Jacobs over 78.5 rushing, and a Terry McLaurin anytime touchdown. Gronk is going with Jordan Love under 223.5. Debo over 53.5 receiving yards, and Tucker Kraft to get in the end zone. Gronk, appreciate you. Good luck. I'll see you in Kansas City.
All right, I'll see you in Missouri. Take care.
You're the best. You can check out Gronk. Also download Dudes on Dudes and listen to it and stream it on YouTube. By the way, we just handed out our touchdown scores. FanDuel has an awesome offer for tomorrow night, Thursday touchdown jackpot. Anytime touchdown bet placed, if your player scores the first or the last touchdown, you get a share of $2 million in bonus bets. It's the touchdown sweepstakes token. Go get it. Head over to FanDuel Sportsbook and claim yours now. And we'll see you tomorrow.